Hey, there are people, there are leaders that are older. You know, Atiku has a right.
In this video, discussion on Atiku's firm stance, the growing pressure from the OBIdient movement, and the explosive, divided reactions from top media personalities and political analyst Oseni Rufai and Dr. Reuben Abati. Where does this leave the ADC?
He won't back down from the 2027 race. Now, this matters because it means he could be going head-to-head with fellow ADC candidate and former Labour Party candidate Peter Obi. In a statement put out on Tuesday by his media advisor Paul Ibe, Atiku also blamed President Tinubu for working to eliminate any opposition. He stated in part, "This administration has not only inflicted widespread hardship, but has pursued a calculated effort to eliminate political alternatives. The objective is clear: a creeping de facto one-party state." Let it be stated plainly. The ADC is on a national rescue mission. Former VP AtikuAbubakar, alongside others, is central to this effort. Any call, overt or covert, for Atiku to step aside is a gift to authoritarian ambition and a betrayal of the Nigerian people. He adds, when the time comes, all qualified aspirants will present themselves freely. No one is stepping down. If anyone should step aside, it's President Tinubu, whose leadership has become a national liability. From 1993 to 2007 would make it the former vice president's 7th time going for the top job. And I'll take some reactions before coming to you, Rufai. The first person says, Atiku, everyone can run freely, sounds good on paper, but in practice, ADC politics have always been about who controls the machinery. Free competition is meaningless if the party elite already decides the winner behind the scenes. Then Adele said, Atiku would probably be 80 years old. This is the next tweet. By 2027, so he obviously knows that he doesn't have the strength and ability to lead Nigeria. A good dancer must know when to leave the dance floor. Let's see how everything plays out. So we'll get to Jonathan in a moment, but let's talk about this statement from the former vice president, his media advisor. How should we be looking at this? I mean, is it time for him to leave the dance floor?
No, see, there are people, there are leaders that are older. You know, Atiku has a right to run. He has a right to his ambition. People can say because of sentiment, yeah, so he's old and all of that. No, people have the right to run. But I think the point I want to happen is this. There's a gentleman's agreement, not written in black and white, that it's the turn of the South, which we think by default should be a two-term. And afterward, power goes back to the North. The times we have tried to break that agreement, there's a lot of fallback. A lot of people got irate and voted en masse for certain candidates because they felt it was the time of the South in the last election. This is what I'm going to say. Any attempts to sort of like tell Nigerians that, yes, people have a right to run and no, anybody, despite your region, to run, will infuriate a lot of Nigerians. And I'm beginning to hear some Nigerians say that any attempts to play this, they will not be happy about it. And we should be careful. I know these things I've said today will be taken out of context, will be controversial, it will trend. See, ideologically, I do not think your region should determine where the president will come from. I think it should be the best competent person to rule Nigeria or to lead Nigeria. I don't like to play this politics. But it is a sentiment that has now become obtainable. And when we deviate from that sentiment, people feel that some people are trying to feel they have more autonomy than some. And I think, let me set it down here. Because this thing I'm saying today will open the floodgate for the debates for this electionary cycle that has started again. So let us all watch it. And with due respect, in the coming days, you're going to see reactions. And the reactions will be, you have no right to say that. It should be the turn of our region too. It is not only the South, and people are open to it. But I am just relaying some of the sentiments I've started hearing people say. That if it's an agreement where somebody from the South does 2 terms and afterwards keeps it to the power goes back to the North in 2031, and any attempt to break that in the middle will let people feel otherwise. And I think we should just put that in this conversation. So I'm ready for the backlash. I've said what I said.
He said what he said. And let's stay on politics for a quick moment, because meanwhile, we have former President Goodluck Jonathan also making it clear that he, however, is pretty optimistic about the state of the People's Democratic Party, with comments just yesterday that it's alive, it's strong, and resilient. Now, the former president said this while meeting with members of the PDP National Working Committee, and it was led by the national chairman, Dr. Kabiru Turaki, in his private office in Abuja. Now, the main purpose of this meeting you see here was twofold. One, to figure out how the party can reconcile after months of internal battles, and how to reposition themselves ahead of 2027. But according to Jonathan, it's possible. Turaki then spoke to the public, reaffirming Jonathan's commitment to the party. Let's watch.
Solicited, as usual, for his support, for his guidance, for his advice, as always. And we have his assurance that he's still a card-carrying member of the People's Democratic Party. He's still active and will even be more active these days in the activities and affairs of the People's Democratic Party.
There you have it. And, you know, Dr. Abati, I'll come to you on this, because how much do you think Jonathan's involvement with the PDP at this point can really move the needle for them? Where does the party stand right now?
Okay, well, in terms of context, the National Working Committee, led by the chairman of the party, who was elected in the PDP convention in Ibadan in November 2025, went to give a report to President Jonathan and seek his guidance, which is a normal thing to do. And it was in that process that the president made the point that, look, he remains a member of the People's Democratic Party, the same party that made him deputy governor, vice president, and president. The same party that had been the only surviving political party since the return to civilian rule, democratic process in 1998 and the general election in 1999. And he said he was available to continue to provide the guidance. That was the major thing that he said. And then, of course, the members of the team, including the chairman and party elders like Professor Jerry Garner, who I think if anybody wants to write the history of the PDP as a political party, he's a man that they should go to, because he was the first major secretary of the party. He has all the records. It's a living library of, PDP politics. And, they thanked President Jonathan for receiving them and all of that. I don't think any other meaning can be read into it. However, to rebuild the party, to renew the party, the chairman of the party himself made a point that, look, there are cases in court, and he has the expectation that if they are able to surmount the legal order, and that he, as a senior advocate of Nigeria, knows that those, challenges are surmountable, that the party will be ready to roll out. And to say that the PDP is alive and well, after all, the People's Democratic Party came second in the 2023 general elections with about 6.9 million votes. So it means that the party has potential, particularly at the grassroots level. So the fact that governors are defecting does not necessarily mean that the PDP army, among the people at the grassroots level, has defected. Those are the details that I think we can note. However, as for former Vice President AtikuAbubakar, well, he says he's going to run again. And that the leader of the APC, the candidate should emerge through an open, competitive process, which is what should happen ordinarily. And we know already that, we have a three-way tussle now within the ADC. AtikuAbubakar, Peter Obi, and also former Minister Rotimi Amechi. As for the people saying Atiku should not run, they cannot dictate to him. There is nothing in the Constitution that says he's not qualified. Yes, he may have run about 6 times. The other 2 times, making it 7, were times he contested in the primaries. He has also been on the platform of the, was it the SDP originally, the AC, and then also the PDP. Now he's in the ADC. After a fashion in Nigeria, where people just move from one platform to the other to achieve their ambitions. As for he being a perennial candidate, well, look at the example of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln became president of the United States in 1860. He had been running for office, House of Reps, Senate, and failing until 1860, when he now emerged as president of the United States. Maybe AtikuAbubakar is following the Abraham Lincoln model. Who knows? You know. But what we want is that in Nigeria, the region that was being referred to, I think we should get to a point whereby we don't play regional politics, where there must be a sunset clause to rotational presidency, where the leadership of Nigeria is not about where you come from or the amount of money you have, but about meritocracy, competence. We have properly educated, knowledgeable people in this environment. Gradually, we are chasing all of them away from the public sphere because the place has been taken over. You can be in this country, a tout will just become a governor. A man who has never worked in his life will suddenly show up in the House of Reps or the Senate to go and do what? To warm the bench. And before you know it, we will sit down here, we will be calling them distinguished senator. Somebody who does not even have a distinguished brain. So we need to reverse, you know, that kind of situation whereby it's our 12th 11 that get to positions of authority and they begin to live conspicuously, going about in convoys, using a security that should be protecting the Nigerian people. That kind of situation is not what the ideal of democracy projects. It is the hope that competent people will lead the country. So we should keep talking about meritocracy. Those who want to go into political office, they can go. But we, the people, must choose wisely. And we must be given the opportunity to choose wisely. And that's why voter education is important. Don't go and vote for touts and bus conductors to come and conduct the bus of Nigeria.
No, you will most likely, you see, with the kind of political structure,
yes,
7 out of 10 times you most likely vote for a tout.
That's why we say vote wisely.
No, it's not by saying vote wisely.
Okay.
Because the political structure throws up violence. The political structure shows off dictators and throws off those that can spend money. So a tout, once it gets money, once it gets violence, so most likely, until something shifts down the line, you most likely vote for a tout. So don't be surprised.
Well, that's why we're talking about electoral reform and an enabling environment and meritocracy. We can't continue like this.
Absolutely.
We can't.
Such good points.
Yeah. Some of these local government chairmen, do you even know your local government chairman?
Right.
Is he the local government chairman?
Yeah. No, at least you should know ministers. You should know ministers. We all did the social studies in school. They used to call it civics. They would tell you the minister of this, the minister.
Is it people that can't even tell you where they are from, their origins? What transpired at the back end?
No, you know, if you're a Nigerian, you're a Nigerian.
Yes.
You know, we shouldn't. Section 42 says you cannot discriminate on the basis of ethnic extraction, place of extraction, religion, or belief. I don't even care about that. As long as you have the competence and you are committed to the Nigerian ideal.
Absolutely. Competence is key. And from politics, let's stay in Abuja, where calls for justice are growing stronger after the killing of nurse Chinemerem Chukwumeziem of the Federal Medical Center in Jabi in Abuja. So this happened on Saturday, and according to the National Secretary of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses, Enya Osinachi, Nurse Chukwumeziem finished her afternoon shift and got on public transport to go home, but never made it there, as her body was later discovered. A video going around on social media shows her in what ended up being one of her last celebrations with her colleagues. Let's watch. May her soul rest in peace. And this tragedy has brought to the fore conversations around the need to protect already stretched healthcare workers. And as of now, we have not seen a statement from the Nigeria Police Force or FCT Police Command, but we will keep watching. And I'll just take one reaction from one of her former colleagues. Friday says, in a failed state, Nurse Chinemerem was killed by one chance operators in Abuja on her way home from afternoon duty, not from a club at midnight. The Nigerian state keeps failing us, yet some politicians don't want us to ask for what is legitimately ours. The hallmark of governance is to provide security for lives and properties, and this seems to be a challenging task for the government to achieve. Rest in peace to a great colleague. And Vinbai, you know, again, may her soul rest in peace. This is such a sad story, but how should you, or how should the public be seeing this? Something like this taking place in Abuja or anywhere really across the country. It's shocked so many people.
It's absolutely unacceptable, and it's one too many incidents, especially in the FCT. And, you know, the context with which that last tweet you read, you consider this, you know, young lady, hardworking woman, a midwife, just closing from afternoon shift, broad daylight. It reminded me of Somi, because she was in the comfort, the safety of her home. So that means that you're not safe anywhere at any time of the day, because we usually associate all these ills with, you know, moving at night and so forth. But if you can't move safely, and if you can't be safe in your own home anymore, then what exactly are we doing? Several issues here. The fact that she's a midwife, and we know that Nigeria has one of the highest maternal infant mortality rates. So she is a VIP as far as I'm concerned in the healthcare profession, because the statistics say that the loss of one midwife affects 150 to 200 pregnant women in the system. And we already know the challenges and the pressure that are there, that already exist. We know that the doctors, resident doctors, are preparing to go on strike as well. So the pressure within the healthcare system itself is already massive, without adding the pressure of, will I get home safely? It's unfair and it's unfortunate. Now, the other angle is the angle that I'd spoken about earlier when Rotus was here doing the business segment, which is around social policy, which is around the fact that the reason why people are kicking back against, you know, tax and, you know, having to pay their tax, hand over their hard-earned money, is because people don't have the confidence or the trust. There is no social contract that says that goods and services due to me as a citizen will be delivered. Because under normal circumstances, there should be a well-functioning transport system, especially in the capital city of one of the biggest nations on the African continent. You would expect that there's a service that moves. Now, when I was in Abuja, I remember someone pointed out to me that, yes, there are some bus stations, some bus terminals that had been inaugurated, commissioned, they're said to be operational, but you never really see the buses on the road. So, and there should be special services for those in healthcare, essential workers who work odd times and odd shifts. But in this instance, because when I read the story, I was expecting to hear that this happened in the middle of the night, but this is during broad daylight. So, you know, my condolences to her, to the family, to the entire medical fraternity, who've certainly lost somebody who was a bright star and just beginning in her career. Reading some of the tributes from her colleagues, her friends and her family was just heartbreaking, because we are losing some of our finest and our most promising to things that are highly preventable. This issue of one chance, especially in Abuja, is totally out of control, and there's no reason for it whatsoever. And I hope the Minister of the FCT can return back from his, his tour of Rivers State to give a marching order on the ground with regards to, whatever security infrastructure. Yes, he doesn't control the police, but there are interventions that he can make as a de facto governor, if I may call it that, of that area.
Just a caveat. No, this is an unfortunate incident, but it has nothing to do with the Minister of FCT going back to Abuja, because some people have expressed that view. They say, Wike is in Port Harcourt, he should be in Abuja. It has nothing to do with it. It's about putting in place whether it's in the FCT or in any part of Nigeria, structures, strong security systems and structures that will ensure that everybody is protected. If Wike was in Abuja, is he the one that will be going around monitoring buses? No, don't let us stretch it that far.
Wouldn't he be the one ordering?
No, he's not even the one ordering. There are so many security systems there, so he doesn't have to be there. But we should have a system that functions. That is what is important. You said what?
But does he not oversee the functioning of some of those systems?
It doesn't control the security system in the FCT. You have the police, you have the DMI, you have the DSS, you have transportation systems and all of that. No, don't let us personalize it. The important thing, as the president has said, is that all of us must be safe. So the responsibility is not that of an individual. It's collective.
Absolutely. So we'll keep watching to see if we get any updates on that from the police or on the investigation into her killing. May her soul rest in peace. In another development, the British Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch revealed in an interview released on Tuesday.
Where does this leave the ADC? Can the opposition ever unite against the APC? Is this the end of the road for a Peter Obi-AtikuAbubakar collaboration? We delve into all the angles. Don't forget to comment below, should Atiku step down for Peter Obi in 2027? If you thought Nigerian politics was on a break, think again. The battle for 2027 is already heating up, and the epicenter of the storm is the opposition. A major crack has just appeared in what many hoped would be a united front against the ruling party. The big news. Former presidential candidate AtikuAbubakar is refusing to step down or concede the opposition's leading role to his 2023 rival, Peter Obi of the Labour Party. This isn't just gossip, it's a decision sparking massive crisis within the ADC and sending shockwaves through the political landscape. And the reactions. The conversation on the ground is even hotter than in the studios. So now, I turn to you, our audience. This is a direct question. Should AtikuAbubakar step down for Peter Obi to forge a united opposition in 2027? Or does Atiku have the right and the better strategy to run again? Let's have a civil and insightful debate in the comments below. Drop your vote and your reasons. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit the like button, it helps the channel immensely. Subscribe and tap the notification bell so you don't miss our daily political analysis. Share this video with someone who needs to be in this conversation.